So finally, after all the bad luck, the bad breaks, you know, the endless slogging on the road, Motörhead got their big break, which was being signed to Bronze, and at the start or in March of '79 releasing Overkill, which really established their sound. It's the first record, I think, well, for most Motörhead bangers, that really, that is Motörhead. They've done an album before, '77, Chiswick Records, but I've done another review of that album, Motörhead, self-titled one, but it was kind of their pub rock type set, just a live recording basically, a few overdubs. But this one, so I mean, it's right from the start, the first track, the title track, and bang, Filthy Animals, double bass drums, which was just, well, not just, but it was that the drum pattern was something he used to do in the studio. He used to get to the studio early to practice his double bass drums, because he said if he had two bass drums, he wanted to use them and be able to use them. You know, to quote his words, you know, I didn't be one of those wankers that had two drums on stage and only used one. So he did that. And you know, Lemmy and Eddie pitched up, but Lenny was still doing it, and they said, "No, don't stop," and they plugged in, and Lemmy just played that single note riff and E, and bang, and they were off. You know, and like Eddie said, he always wanted to. You hear, but it does those the two false stops, what we call it. You know, where it goes back into it, the musical refrain at the end. And you can hear that there's a demo version of Ace of Spades. It's called Rare Version. And the riff is down, 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 down. But anyway, at the end they do these chords, and Eddie's signing over those chords, and it's very much the end chords for Overkill. And Eddie said he always wanted to do those chords, and they said, "Well, let's stop and let's go into it again." And in fact, they did it once, and they, well, that was excellent. And he said, "Well, let's do it one more time." And then you get that brilliant. Eddie's going up on his guitar while Lemmy's going down. Really strongly captured at the No Sleep Till Hammersmith album. I love that. You know, at the end, Lemmy goes, "They go." Yeah, so by now they were absolutely rocking, and they had all this stored up energy and stuff, and it just sort of all came out in one great splurge of awesomeness. Overkill, next track, Stay Clean, bass solo from Lemmy. Magic as well. Well, why isn't that more? Everyone quite rightly goes on about John Entwistle, 15 years earlier, whatever, playing the bass solo on My Generation, establishing the bass as not just an instrument that failed guitarists played. But no one ever mentioned Stay Clean. The bass solo on that, I mean, it's quite revolutionary for me. Really good. I Won't Pay Your Price. Awesome. And yeah, really good. Another really strong. And I'll Be Your Sister, which I love that track live. There's a great. Some of these tracks, I don't know how old they were, because there's one, I'll Be Your Sister, and it's on one of those, it's called Live and Loud or something, those almost bootleg type albums they released, but very much from Motörhead was still, it was like 77 or 78, maybe like the Blitzkrieg on Birmingham type era, when they're not really playing to the largest crowds and that. But there's a recording of I'll Be Your Sister on that, and that, I first did that on, yeah, like, so I got some CD in 1995. I kept on having to go back to the beginning of that. It's the same thing I first time I heard Dancing on Your Grave. The sheer power of that I'll Be Your Sister. And it's kind of mellow on this album. And at the end, Capricorn, which, yeah, it's those, that one, there's a couple, I never like to criticise Overkill too much, because everyone can be a critic and all that lot, but there's two songs, Capricorn and what's the other one, Metropolis, that just sound a bit woolly, or not, I don't know, just a bit wishy-washy almost, the recording of them. I don't know what it is, maybe they've deliberately done that way. And apparently Capricorn, Jimmy Miller, who was doing the engineering, the legendary Jimmy Miller who did the Stones, he recorded out Eddie doing a little, he was just doing the lead, but he thought he was preparing to do the actual solo, and he was just checking his tuning. Then he finished it, he said, "Okay, we can go now," and Jimmy Miller said, no, that's great, that will do." So they got the solo that way. But yeah, for me, and Metropolis, given how heavy that was on the live recordings again, Metropolis and Capricorn always sound to me just a bit vague. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, wishy-washy. No Class, how they did not get sued by ZZ Top for that one, I do not know. I don't know, did they actually, did actually consciously rip that one off, because it's tush, just looking for some tush, tush, or whatever. But that's the riff for No Class. I love both the songs, but I think Lemmy was good mates with Billy Gibbons anyway, so perhaps Billy Gibbons said, "I have that one of me, son. You know, you're on your way up. Good luck to you." Damage Case, fantastic. Move over for a damage case. A lot of these tracks, they were sort of pioneering a new style of music, well, Motörhead music. Stuff like Damage Case, I Won't Pay Your Price. Really clever stabbing lyrics and stabbing riffs, really establishing the Motörhead sound there. And I mean, you ever seen the thing of them playing Overkill on Top of the Pops, which if you're not English or you don't know about it, was a long running BBC program every week. And I think I've seen one with Motörhead doing the live Leaving Here from the golden years. And then right after that, before that, they've got Hot Chocolate. I believe in miracles, where from? And then next they've got Motörhead, and the audience are standing there, and there's this guy trying to dance like this. I mean, but when they're doing Overkill, the audience like, what is this? Never seen anything like it. Metropolis already talked about. Well, We Tear You Down. So that was the B side. I think it was the B side to Louis Louis. When Motörhead, they had that. They released their album, Motörhead, self-titled album, and then it sort of fizzled out again. Lemmy said the absolute start of '78 was quite a bleak time for them, and Eddie looked like he was going to leave and go and join the Muggers, or he did some stuff with the Muggers, this sort of side band. But then they sort of got it back on track, and they released Louis Louis, and they got their first Top of the Pops appearance thanks to that, which Jerry Bond said was the worst song he'd ever released. He said it's the worst sounding song. He released it without hearing it, and then he heard it. He said, "My God," and it promptly surprised him or amazed him by getting on Top of the Pops. And there's that famous story at the time, they were so skint, the band, that Eddie was doing some painting and decorating on the side to get some money, and then he was working late, because I think Top of the Pops used to go out. I mean, it's stopped now, but I think we should be out 7 o'clock at night. Then he was working late at a customer's house, and he'd recorded Louis Louis the previous day. It was kind of 7 o'clock, and Lemmy said he's put down his paintbrush, his own his overalls. He said to the customers, he goes, "Do you mind if I watch your TV? Because I'm due on Top of the Pops in a minute." I'm like, no, you're not. You're painting our house. You're not on Top of the Pops. He put the TV on. There he was. So that was that. Where was I? Right. So Tear You Down. That was Ein, zwei, drei, when Lemmy counts in German. What's 1, 2, 3, 4 in German? Ein, zwei, drei, vier, or something. Never did that at school. We did French. Tear You Down. Metropolis. I've already talked about that. And then again, another great one, Limb from Limb. Slow, sleazy blues. It's almost like a sort of, not that I've ever known anything like this, but it's almost like a sort of porno soundtrack. What's like from the 70s, sleazy 70s. Down, 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 down. And then that bit, down, down, it almost sounds like it's just going to fizzle out, and then suddenly, bang, bang, it all crashes in, goes into double time, whatever you call it. And really great ending track to, and was it? Yeah, nearly 5 minutes. So really great. Showcases Eddie's great rock and roll lead guitar playing. A bit of blues stuck in there. For me, the next album, Bomber, it would give a nod to Eddie's influences, bluesy influences, a lot more than this one. For this one, as I say, it really introduces Motörhead as being Motörhead music for me, Overkill. So rightly regarded as a classic. And that's it. Motörhead were finally definitely up and running.